Hi everyone, welcome to this session of Talking Tech, Women and Girls in ICT. My name is Lu Han, and I'm a senior studying computer engineering at UCSB. I will soon become a program manager at Microsoft. And today, we are delighted to have a special guest chat with us about how to explore your potential, pursue your passion in STEM, and the importance of STEM educations for girls and women. First, about Talking Tech. It's a series celebrating girls and women in the tech on the fourth Thursday of each April, and it's called Girls in ICT Day. The aim is to help create a global environment that empowers young women to consider studies and careers in the growing field of IT. Finding passion and exploring potentials are things I'm passionate about, and I know a person who devotes in finding her passion and challenging her limits. She is none other than Melanie Stuetz. As an adventurer, she was the first female pilot to fly across 5 continents in 18 months in a flying car. As a female entrepreneur, she is the CEO of IDEASCANNER, a digital education tool that makes business models quickly measurable through the use of artificial intelligence. Also, she is a mentor for MIT in business model analysis for adapting to the new normal. And in today's interview, we will first start from our common interest, extreme sports, then about our passion in tech, and finally, why education is the key to overcome the frontier. So, hello, Melanie. Thanks for joining us today. So, I've always been a fan of extreme sports, and I did bungee jumping and skydiving. But you are totally at a different level as the first female pilot to fly across 5 continents in 18 months in a flying car. So, that sounds super fun and amazing to me. So, to kick things off, would you mind telling us when and why you were inspired to take on this kind of challenge?
Yeah, once upon a time, no. But actually, it all started when I grew up as a child in East Germany. My parents fled with me from East to West Germany shortly before the fall of the Berlin Wall. And such an existential experience is very formative, especially for me. And Benjamin Franklin, one of the founding fathers of the US and natural scientist and inventor, sums it up quite well. He used to say, whoever is willing to give up a fundamental freedom in order to gain a short term little security deserves neither freedom nor security. And my parents thought in the long term and with foresight. And in the GDR, for example, only 10% of a cohort could graduate from high school. And political views were also a criterion for that. And my parents not only wanted me to graduate from high school, but also to have the freedom to travel the world, even westward. And as a child, my dream was to become a cosmonaut. For me, it was not yet gone into space, but you never know. But through our flight around the world, you've already mentioned it with the flying car, I have already come a little bit closer to that. So come back to our world flight. This was inspired by our childhood dreams. As you might imagine, I'm responsible for this world tour because of growing up in East Germany. And my husband, he was born in West Germany. And when he was 5 years old, he told his mother that as an adult, he would go on a trip with a flying car because he was inspired by that vision, by his favorite TV series. And his mom said by that, actually, she didn't say anything. She just laughed. And I think she's thought, okay, boys and their dreams. But what I can also say to everybody out there, um, if something, be it a dream or be it a goal, seems crazy or impossible, that doesn't mean it's not possible. Therefore, I would like to give my first giveaway. Learning number one: the impossible is often more or very possible if you think more. This was also a message from a business partner of Andreas, Karl-Heinz Johansmeyer, what he said to us during an interview during our Weltflug TV.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like the saying the impossible is often very possible if you can think more. So what kind of challenges you encountered along the way when you traveled?
Yeah, as a pilot, you experience highs and lows in the truest sense of word. And many people asked us if we weren't afraid. But from our point of view, there are two types of fear. One is rather abstract and can paralyze, e.g., of wars, terror, or environmental disasters.
Mhm.
And the other fear is that of concrete danger, such as traffic, which makes one alert. It is important not to be intimidated by the first fear and to use the caution to keep risk as low as possible. And this is not only true in times of economic crisis or pandemics. So I would like to give another learning. Don't be afraid, but be careful. And our childhood dream has become an international media project. We found a reputable publisher for the book publication even before the adventure began, and succeeded in selling film material to TV stations during the journey, and finally achieved a co-production with the number one public broadcaster in Germany.
Nice.
And in cooperation with the children's ed organization Terre des Hommes, we interviewed kids all around the world about their dreams. And part of the proceeds from the marketing of the book and movie, Weltflug, the Jarblane Dream, went back to educational projects for the kids, so that their dreams can come true too. And we see education as an essential key. And our message to the kids is that you can learn anything. So I would also say learning is the path to fulfilling your dreams. And I have to tell you, before this media project with Weltflug, the TV, we had never written any book or made any movie ourselves or even knew how to fly. But we learned everything we needed. And the pilot license was just the beginning.
Nice, nice. So I guess don't be afraid, but definitely be careful. And learning is a path to fulfilling your dreams are your main two takeaways from the adventure. And you are the first, I want to like address again because it's so impressive, the first female pilot to fly across like 5 continents in 18 months in a flying car. So what does this kind of experience or achievements mean to you?
Yeah, our goal was not setting world records. We just followed our dreams. And a childhood dream is a very first thing that comes up to your mind before others tell you what you should do or you should become. And that was also the reason why we asked kids and adults around the world about their dreams. And realizing our own one, which seems to be quite impossible at the beginning, um, yeah, with this, we motivated others to reflect their lives because at the end, we only have this one life. So after all, um, we all, yeah, don't really need that much to live and work. And in this age of digitalization, we can work almost anytime, anywhere in the world with an internet access. And we really became aware of this during our world flight adventure. We were on the road, or better, on air or in the air, for this 18 months on 5 continents with light luggage. And this luggage primarily was full of technology equipment for writing the book and making the footage for it, and also for the movie. We had very little clothing on board. And as a result, the decision making process of choosing clothes in the morning turned out to be extremely efficient. So sometimes that's also another giveaway or learning I can give you out there is, yeah, letting go is a kind of freedom. After my very first adventure escaping from East to West Germany, we needed to start at zero again. And we do not need that much. And sometimes starting from zero can lead you to achieve even more. And you also said at the beginning, Lou, that you did skydiving. And as it seems, we have quite a lot of things in common. Yes, because Andreas and I, we did that too. But I have to admit that I got really sick before the first jump and got a free peeling face mask afterwards because we jumped right into a cloud with some little raindrops. And
Well, then,
yeah, that feels quite different if you fall through it with a high speed. So I'm also super curious about you because I have never done a bungee jump so far. So could you tell us how did it feel to bungee jump?
yeah, definitely. So it's like also another fun story. I did bungee jumping on my 18th birthday, and it's my coming of age gift. I was actually not very nervous before getting onto the springboard, but in the end, I was pushed down by the staff aside, and I screamed very loudly in a video afterwards. Yeah, my dark history. And actually, at the moment in the air, I was actually feeling a kind of freedom and a giant sense of accomplishment to overcome my inner fear. Yeah.
Is that the reason why you like extreme sports? Overcome your inner fear?
Yeah, pretty much. And actually, I am quite envious of your experience because I feel like that if I complete a particularly difficult task, then I will basically never feel crowded in front of other challenges, even if it's in a different field, like starting a company, startups, etc. And this kind of courage feels especially precious to me. But it can only be accumulated in the process of challenging and proving oneself again and again. So I guess maybe looking back, most of the time, the things I regretted the most aren't those that I've tried and that didn't work out because there are too many things like that, but are the things that I really wish to do, but somehow discouraged to even try it, give it a shot, simply because like someone um, besides me don't understand or no one besides me did it. So I guess the beginning is often the hardest. And I cannot agree more with your message that impossible is more possible if you think more. And we can learn until we try, right? So as long as you start, I think you're on the right path. Yeah, so I guess that's my main takeaway from like actually hearing your stories. That's so inspiring. And you are an venturer and also a tech entrepreneur. So you just share with us some fantastic adventure stories. And now I'm kind of curious about when and how did you actually get into the technology?
Yeah, it has also again to do with my childhood because I grew up in a family full of entrepreneurs. My grandfather had a PhD in electrical engineering, and he designed seawater desalination plants and market them as far as Dubai, among other places. And that was even before globalization out of East Germany. And he was very the first in everything because he has always been an inspiration to me, and he has also given me the enthusiasm for new technology because as soon as the very first laptop or the very first mobile or car phone appeared, who had it first? My grandpa. And that was so cool because he was showing me his new stuff, and I'm as his first grandchild as a little girl. That was super special for me. And he also allowed me to play on alone on his laptop. And for me, that was the ultimate. That was super cool because
Mhm.
sitting alone there as half a meter and being there in front of this expensive new technology. And he also ordered some floppy disk for me with computer games on it, and I could not stop making one record after another. And that was the very first step. So I'm always curious about new stuff and new technology and want to know more about it and the latest stuff. So for me, later on, yeah, there was no question what I will study. And my focus of my business studies at the LMU in Munich became clear. It was business informatics and new media because that was the latest stuff you could study during that time. And In the meantime, I also worked at Microsoft and was allowed to participate in the IT and Partner Congress, for example. There I saw Steve Ballmer, the head of Microsoft at that time, and he's legendary. His speeches are so emotional, and that was also maybe one inspiration, or also one check that I'm on the right path. And I also worked for Unisys in Madrid. I've worked with colleagues from across 15 countries and had to do case studies about the latest technologies and the customer problems they solved. And that was and still is super exciting for me to see what business model can be developed with the latest technologies.
So I feel like it's so cool that you can actually get access to the first generation of laptops and first generation of mobile. And when do you actually took the college? What year is that?
University, or actually I started, it's actually the same. It was 1999. I graduated from college and also started
Okay, yeah,
university.
yeah. So I feel like it's super cool. You can actually choose the major like business informatics and new media, new trends for the people who taken like for their like majors now. So I feel like you're really foresighted in that kind of perspective. So why did you choose to found a company after traveling and working around the world?
Yeah, in retrospect, we noticed many parallels between being a pilot and being an entrepreneur, because as a pilot, we quickly learned that it is important to know where you are heading, but to keep the path to it flexible, because often not everything goes according to plan. No matter how much weather information you get, the end it's sometimes safer to stay on the ground, and even if it takes longer. My takeaway number 5 is firm on target and flexible on the way. And I also have to admit, during our pilot training, our flight instructor always made sure that we went through the pre-flight check before every flight with our little two-seater mini helicopter. Um, this is super important, although it's annoying if you're doing your license and you want to get on the plane and want to fly. But it's super important because um, if you realize that something is wrong in the air, um, you sometimes it costs you your life. In the air you cannot readjust a screw or refuel if you're just a light craft airplane. So um, you really have to do a pre-flight check before you are ready for departure. And as an entrepreneur, you should also know where you are heading and whether one or the other adjusting screw needs to be readjusted. And in both cases, it is advisable to know exactly, really exactly what you are doing, and to always learn from mistakes. That is so important. That's the reason why we developed a kind of pre-flight check for business ideas. Because we thought a pilot has his pre-flight check. Why shouldn't entrepreneurs should have a kind of pre-flight check on their own? And since it's all about ideas and to scan them, we called our company IDEASCANNER. And this is also the name of the tool. It's a digital tool, and it makes business ideas measurable for the first time. And it is used for rapid evaluation of ideas in corporate innovation, but also in entrepreneurship education. And as software as a service, IDEASCANNER helps you to prioritize ideas also after design thinking workshops. And what we have done here is we've democratized the knowledge of successful venture capitalists. So in accelerator and incubator programs, or in startup advice and transfer centers of colleges and universities, IDEASCANNER supports in terms of content, time, and also empowers intra and entrepreneurs to benefit from the experience of thousands of entrepreneurs and investors, and to learn this way of entrepreneurial thinking and to evaluate and improve business ideas continuously. And at the end, also, because we have democratized the knowledge of the VCs, they can stand up to questions from experienced investors on my level. And they really know what they have to do to be ready for takeoff. So to put it in a nutshell, IDEASCANNER is a digital tool to help the next generation of entrepreneurs to learn from mistakes others have already made by democratizing the knowledge of successful VCs. And we've done this with artificial intelligence. And our customers said that IDEASCANNER is a real eye-opener to them because it makes ideas for the first time also comparable because we have a score and it sets a new standard. And it's super helpful to have a pre-flight check for the next generation to be sure that it pays off to get now from lean startup and to really build out a business out of it.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of also match like one of your takeaways that you don't need to be afraid, but you need to be careful when you actually start it. So, and also like learning is a passive fulfill your dream. So you have to keep like rechecking, be careful and learning, but also like not afraid of the challenges. Yeah. If I'm an entrepreneur, I would definitely buy your products. That sounds totally intrigued to me.
Yeah, but it's everything is about knowledge. And that's why education is so important. But speaking of education, you are now a freshly graduated senior in computer engineering at UCSB, right?
Yes. Yay.
So would you like to tell us more about that, Lu? What is your story and what has been your motivation?
Sure, I'd love to. Yeah, thanks for asking. So I did physics contests and public forum debates in my high school. So that's kind of lead me to be really fascinated by logic thinkings and also science and sociology. So I love to find the reasons behind the problems and not only finding it, but also trying to figure out a way to solve it. I want to have more rigorous trainings on the skills that can help me formulate and solve the problems. So like computers, as you already like have contact with like last century, is also one of the most powerful tools in the 21st century. So I decided to learn computer engineering in that way.
That's so super cool. So let's talk figures. 1-0. How many girls were with you on board studying computer engineering?
Oh, that's a very good question, actually. So it's actually like have a changing figures throughout my education. So in the first several education programming classes, there are like more than 30% of the girls. So it's actually kind of surprised me because I thought like girls in engineering like will be smaller. However, actually nearly half of them transferred to other majors by the end of the first year. So later when I become the undergraduate TA, I noticed that the girls often tends to imagine difficulties and think that the computers are not the one for them, mostly because they don't have enough female models, role models around them. And it makes me realize that the community and peers are more important than we thought at the beginning for learning, especially for the subjects like engineering. So later I joined an organization called Women in Computer Science and organized some one-to-one mentorship programs that the senior students will accompany and support freshman female engineers throughout a year and solving their confusions, growing with them. And at the end, almost all freshmen turn out to be really enjoying the process. They enjoy the fun achievements of the engineering, like the programs and also the class materials, and they started to gain the confidence and seldom like change the majors because of this anxiety or self-doubt. So I really think that peer programming and teamwork is what makes the learning experience faster and happier. I honestly believe that peer programming and teamwork is what makes the learning experience faster and happier. So I like hope everyone, no matter he or she, should ask themselves what they really want to be. Recall your childhood dreams as what you like mentioned in the first, right? The childhood dream was the very first dream before people telling you what to do. And I believe that many girls also dream of being like astronauts, engineers, mathematicians. But as everyone grows up, like girls may just gradually lose their self confidence in achieving what they truly dreamed. Maybe because most of their female peers did not choose the same path, or they think they just not like intellectually capable. But however, I feel like self confidence could only build when you attempt. So just don't set your limits, I guess, your own limits at the first place. And as long as you take the first step, you will have a high chance of reaching out to people who are as hard as you, trying to break their limits as well. And also a community waiting to help you forward.
Cool. I'm so impressed by what you have achieved so far, and
Thank you.
so yeah, kudos to your mentor work.
Yeah, thanks.
It's always good to yeah, be progressive and to yeah, try to contribute to community. And I'm sure you're a super true role model for a lot of young women, and you were reason number one why they stayed and kept going.
Well,
And
thanks so much. Yeah.
yeah, and I absolutely agree with you regarding dreams and inner frontiers, because like I said, we only have this one life, and
Mhm.
at least that's what they say so far. We don't know, maybe there are more, but it's your life and it's your choice what you make out of it every single day. So everybody's out there. Don't let people put up walls again, neither physically nor in your mind.
Yeah, agree. Yeah.
Start with the first step, and the rest will follow. Speaking of first steps, Lou, it seems we have two other things in common. We both are super excited about technology innovations, and I also started my career at Microsoft, and I'm super happy to hear that you soon become a program manager there too. So what is going on there? Where what is your work you're you're going to do?
It's a very good questions. And so my dreams, my aspiration always keep changing, but I feel like it's and I actually take in those inspirations along the way. And currently I'm interested in technology innovations in the infrastructure like cloud, IoT, SaaS, with a hope to actually build the next generation of automated medical process that enable more people to access the medical resources equally and sufficiently.
Wow. How did it come that you hope to build up such a new generation of automated medical processes?
Yeah, so I actually get inspired by one of my past experience. So last summer, due to the COVID and also the quarantine, my grandma's diabetes deteriorates to the stroke. So I think the challenge behind is the inability to obtain the human health indicators in time and also provide the professional real-time feedback. So I hope that the wearable devices and also home testing equipment can be better used in the current medical system and trying to improve people's behavior and avoid the chronic diseases from happening in the first place. So the task seems pretty challenging, but that's exactly what I'm looking for. So I will be still insisting on on the way to achieving this, and also I'm looking forward to finding like-minded peers to improve medical experience together. Okay, so last but not least, Melanie, do you have any more tips for girls and young ladies who are also interested in adventures, technologies, and startups?
Yeah, first of all, not everybody has to do adventures. Not everybody has to do
Yeah, that's so true.
startups. Um, but nowadays, any woman can learn about the topics that interests her the most. For example, with a MOOC, a massive open online
Yeah,
course,
yeah, I use it too.
Wikipedia, YouTube, and thus develop into an expert without having to attend a local university like we used to have, or pay expensive tuition fees. It's a form of freedom in another way, that anyone with internet access can take advantage of. So there are also various networks and programs that are committed to women in tech. Companies are constantly launching new campaigns to get women on board who are interested in technology.
Nice.
And you just have to, sometimes follow your company you want to work for. And so there are also various networks and programs that are committed to women in tech. Companies are constantly launching new campaigns to get women interested in technology. For example, I also received a scholarship in the field of data science from Bertelsmann in cooperation with Udacity and Google.
It's cool.
And yeah, in such topics like artificial intelligence or data science, they offer women a huge opportunity. Everyone there starts more or less from scratch. So in these areas, women can currently make a real difference and perhaps even improve the world a bit, like you also want to. And women, yeah, every woman or all women can define this as their domain and establish themselves as pioneers in this field. And beyond that, my recommendation is that we women should support each other wherever we can. There is always an expert who is knowledgeable in a specific topic and is happy to share her knowledge. So don't be afraid to ask. Through this exchange, we all can save a lot of time and expand our network at the same time. So it's a win-win situation, and no one should be afraid for asked for something. So women can also make very specific recommendations for other women. For example, for the next panel discussion, because there are uh, still only a few female panelists too often on screen, also with regarding keynotes. And we also can nominate each other for certain awards. And yeah, to think in this network effect. And in the best case, the next generation sees a role model in those women out there and thus finds their way into IT as well. And I'm also happy to help in the area of entrepreneurship, innovation, and AI, and share my current overview of the various networks and programs. Just contact me via LinkedIn. By the way, I'm also currently in the jury of the accelerator program of Women in AI in Europe. And as far as I know, Women in AI runs this program worldwide. So just check it out if you are interested in dive deeper into artificial intelligence. And I just want to end with a final quote of my husband Andreas, who wrote as the author of the book about our flying car adventure, Weltflug, the Joy Plane Dream, that this journey is proof that dreams can literally give wings and that you can learn anything, even and maybe especially over resistance.
That's so great. Yeah, I like this sentence so much.
And I also like that you also contribute your time also with an NGO. You're in the lead of a nonprofit project called Light Your Path, right?
Right.
So what are you doing there, and why are you doing that?
Yeah, so most of the time, actually, the information on LinkedIn is not complete, and it's actually hard to understand industries or subject knowledges if none of your peers or family members are actually in the field. Especially so especially when like people surrounding you are not in the field as well. So essentially, we want to lower the bar to entry when it comes to learning about a specific industry, career, or research area. And Light Up Pass is just like that, a series of a nonprofit coffee chat format interview videos where we have some personal conversations with brilliant minds talking about their background stories and career daily lives. And we hope to actually inspire young adults about a wide range of careers that they can have and help them better plan for their future. So, for example, how to choose a college major or where to start after graduation. And we honestly hope that the backgrounds, surroundings, families won't be the barriers for people's potential. And I know it's particularly challenging for some of us, but the results could turn out to be more rewarding if knowing that conquering the challenges would actually make you stronger. Just like go back to your quotations and like even will learn anything and even and maybe especially over the resistance. So I think one things I want to say to my peers, girls, and also me in the future is that just um, take a step forward to your dream and don't be cowardly without even trying it. And many STEM women in the communities like Melanie and me, and organizations like Tech in Talk and also like Your Path are all there to help you. And we all together hope everyone can get the future they want and make their life worthwhile. So I'm going to wrap up now, and that's all we have for you today, folks. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us, Melanie. And for our reviewers out there, I hope these sessions could bring you more confidence in pursuing your dreams and defeating the challenges. The Talking Tech series is brought to you by the ITU, UNICC, and the Office of the UN Secretary General Envoy on Youth, and is in support of ECOS, the Global Partnerships for Gender Equality in the Digital Age. Goodbye!
Thank you.